Hey everybody, I'm Asian Funk. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm joined by a very special guest. She is a world-renowned illustrator, vector artist, and lover of ham. She has worked with clients such as Adidas, Adobe, Disney, ESPN, Hasbro, Marvel, Lucasfilms, Newsweek, Time, and many, many more. Tracie Ching, thank you so much for being here. I'm super excited.
It's so good to be here. I'm really glad that you gave up, because it's an alphabetical list that you were just reading off, and it goes on.
Oh yeah,
on
I had the whole paragraph, and I was like,
I was just like,
I think I'm
Bill,
gonna cut it. Yeah.
get out now.
Were you thinking as I was reading that, like, oh, this guy is gonna read the entire thing?
It's like, oh no, we're only at H. I was like, that's a long list. Yep. We should and we're gonna keep track. We're gonna keep track of how many of these questions I have been asked before or not. I have a little yes/no sheet, and we're gonna literally keep tally.
Okay, cool. I'm very excited. Here's the first question. What's up with your love for ham?
Yeah, so it's really funny. That was my logo, previous to the one I have now, when I got serious, actually involved bacon. I had this really kitschy branding because I didn't know who I was or what I wanted to be, and I like ham products. I think it comes from the Hawaiian and Polish backgrounds being smushed together that I am genetically predisposed to a love of ham. And so being raised in Jersey too, I have an unhealthy love of pork roll, which is like a ham byproduct.
There
it's like spam, but bit of conditioning, bit of genetics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I actually thought that it was kind of like a joke, like you're a lover of ham, like jokes, like when they say you go ham
of going hard as
yeah no, exactly. I was like, oh, I wonder, okay, you literally meant the meat.
Yeah, and I don't know where the section went on my website, to how to change that little piece, and I haven't tried very hard. But when I changed over the branding, I got rid of everything. But it wasn't until much later I realized it was still on that. When you're on my website, the tab reads.
Yeah, it's embedded
Illustrator,
in the actual
graphic designer, lover of ham. Because it was literally part of my logo. It was part of my branded identity, and so I had to yep, I committed. It was an excellent conversation starter too, because it was literally on my business cards and everything. People.
That's
so
amazing.
Full disclosure, I have answered this question before, as it was part of my previous branding strategy. So I'm sorry about that, but that was good. It's been a while since I've been asked that question.
Okay, let's say that's a draw then.
It's like a half point.
Yeah.
Partial credit.
Yeah. Crap. Not a good start.
Sorry.
Okay.
It'll get better. I promise.
Yeah. All right. Here's another one then. So on your website, on your about page, at the very bottom, you have a quote from Duncan Jones.
Yes.
Director of Moon, source code, World of Warcraft. He said that your work isn't hideous.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that quote?
Yeah. So it's the first and only testimonial I've ever had, and it just came out of nowhere. And we were on Twitter, and I think I posted my poster, a private commission I did for Moon, and he's legit on Twitter all the time, and he responds to especially fan art. He really likes fan art, and so he responded to it, and we had a little chat, and he didn't mean it sarcastically or anything. I think he said, I said, thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. And he was just yeah, he's of course I'm going to treat it nicely. It's it's not the work is hideous or anything. And I was like, can I use that on my website? It's her work isn't hideous, Duncan Jones. He's go for it. And I immediately put it on the bottom of the page. Cause it's covert. I could have put it in a call out box, but I kind of just like that it floats and sits there.
It's very subtle, and that's amazing. And
it's real. I'm not kidding.
Right. Yeah. Well,
there's a paper trail. You can find it on Twitter. It's there.
I wanted to verify if that was legit, and it was. You asked for it, you asked for his approval on Twitter, and he said yes. And I was like,
yes.
No.
I said, can I use that as a testimonial on my website? He said, go for it. And I'm
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And I just like how it's at the bottom, and it's just text. There's no graphic. It
looks like a footer.
Yeah.
Yep.
I enjoyed that a lot. And that's when I knew I was okay, she's funny.
Don't take myself too seriously, I guess.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was on Instagram, and under the recommendation section, there was a video of you unboxing a G.I. Joe figure. And I was like, I don't know why I watched it, but I did. And then when you said that you designed certain elements on the box, I was like, that's pretty cool. So then I was like, I should look up your other stuff. And I did. And I saw the Kamala Harris poster, and I was like, I can't believe that that is the same person.
Oh yeah. I'm in everyone's house. They just don't know it.
Yeah. So I thought that was just really cool that like I had already seen your work a long time ago, but didn't realize it till now. So
yeah, I guarantee you've seen elsewhere. My gallery, Spoke Art, is in San Francisco, so I guarantee you've seen my stuff before.
I'm sure I have. Well, now that I have seen when I went through your work, I was like, okay, I have seen your stuff.
It's sneaky like that.
Yeah, no, I think that's really cool. It's just like, okay, you've been around for a while and you've done different things.
Yeah.
And I think that's really awesome.
I dabble.
Yeah.
I dabble.
What was the last convention you went to?
The last one I got out to was New York Comic Con last year.
Jealous.
Yeah, last year was the first year I exhibited on the main show floor, and the last time I was at an actual like exhibitor was when they were still at My Kind, the print people, in Artist Alley, which was 2012. So like I would go for signings with my galleries and stuff like that, but I would just be there for like a few hours. But I haven't vended at New York Comic Con, and I pretty much only go to Comic Cons if I can like make money at them, because then I can spend money and not feel bad. And so yeah, I pretty much just almost exclusively do New York Comic Con and AwesomeCon here in DC.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've never been to New York Comic Con. That's definitely on my list.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah, I know. Have you been to San Diego Comic Con?
No, and to be quite honest, I'm like deeply intimidated by the idea of going so far, right? Going across the country for like an insane event that you know is going to be insane. And so like I probably won't roll up to San Diego Comic Con until I'm ready to like ship things to sell. Yeah. Because I just like I can't even wrap my head around that. Like getting out there for it.
Well, it's funny. It's funny that you say you're intimidated, because I'm intimidated with the New York Comic Con. Like I think the idea that like New York City is more compact, so everything is like stacked on top of each other, but like here everything is spread apart. And I'm more comfortable with that. Like I would rather walk 10 miles in one direction instead of going up different levels. I think that
a few miles in the air.
Yeah, that terrifies me. Not being able to escape.
It's rough. I went to school in New York, and that was one of the things I disliked the most, was just like the claustrophobia of like Manhattan, because like I grew up by the shore, and so that's why I moved to DC, because they have a height restriction here. And so you can't you must be able to see the Washington Monument is the rule. And so they can't go beyond a certain number of stories in DC. And like they're trying to get it repealed because they want to build, but it's just like,
I'm sure. The view. I did not know that. That makes total sense. That would explain why the skylines are always so nice and leveled, because they have restrictions.
Exactly. Yep. It's by design.
Makes sense. What was the last movie you saw in a theater?
Oh, Jesus. So again, like even pre-COVID, I didn't get out to see many movies at all. God, I think it might have been Star Wars.
The
like
last
all
one,
the
right?
like 2019. Yeah.
The Last Skywalker. That's right.
Yeah. I think that might have been it. I think that was the last one I saw, because like I get to go. I'm allowed to go see the movies I design stuff for, because like technically it's like work expense, and I can like indulge myself a little bit. Like it's work.
It's work research. Yeah.
And so it's like it's after the fact. It's after the job is done. But I'm just like, well, I designed that thing for Captain Marvel. I designed that thing for Star Wars. I need to like go see the movie just for closure.
Right. I need to gather data to see how it's performing, and so that I know what to do next time.
Yeah, and it's so husband, take the children. I'm going to go see movies for work.
Yeah. Right. Or I'm just going to go to work off site.
Exactly.
Mhm.
This is business. I'm not going to enjoy this. I'm not going to come back with like a $25 popcorn container shaped like
That's
Captain
right.
Marvel.
Yeah. Well, you have to come back being like, oh man, it was a long day at work, but really you were just sitting in a theater for 3 hours.
Yes. Nom,
Um,
nom, nom.
yeah.
Pretty
Um,
much.
how would you describe your art style in 3 words?
It's really funny because I only describe my style in 3 words. Lots of lines. It's literally what I tell everyone. Lots of lines.
So you're saying someone's asked you that already?
No. So like normally I know I'm keeping track. I'm keeping track. Normally like I get asked like how would you describe it? It's
Mm-hmm.
the word limit that's
Yeah.
new. But it's funny because it already fit to the description I tend to use, which is lots of lines.
I should
Because it
have
doesn't
said,
require anything more.
yeah, I should have said 2 words. Lots
2
lines.
words.
Many lines.
Lots lines. Many lines. Ha.
Yeah. Does that work? Yeah. Many lines.
Still got it.
Okay. All right. Dang it. All right. We'll call that a draw.
No, that one's still good. That one's still
Still
good
good?
because I've been
Okay.
asked to describe the style, but it's the first time
Yeah.
there's been a cap on it.
Well, I'm
which I
not here
think
to
is
waste your
incredible.
time. So, when you're doing portraits
Mhm.
of people, do you look for a specific photo of that person, or are you working with a photo that's been provided to you?
Yeah, so it depends on the client themselves. Some clients have reference materials that they already have licenses or access to, depending on if it's a brand or it's, somebody with their own likeness rights or something like that. But if it's, a publication, they have access to, things like Reuters or Shutterstock that have, Shutterstock that
Yeah.
have, things you can use for reference. But there are plenty of times I have clients approach me that require likeness that are not providing reference, and so it's kind of both. But I have to kind of decide which one it is if they're providing assets, and then if they're not, I have to go around and dig them up, and then I have to choose what I want to like smush together or use, because likeness I cannot just make up in my head. I need reference. Too many little squishy weird sections in the face for me to just guess and know is right without having ever met somebody. So yeah,
that makes sense. And I agree with you. I think that's part of one of the things I like about your work is that you do pick up on those little subtle facial features that make them unique to each person. So I think that's really cool. What facial feature do you feel like you need to absolutely nail in order to consider that portrait a success?
So the eyes are the part I always start with first and spend the most time on. And I kind of like, depending on how distinctive or interesting other facial features are, you can kind of see how interested I am in certain parts of the face because I get way more detailed there. And then wherever I give up, it just gets like really like basic. But it's always the eyes that I spend the most time on because I think there's a lot of expression that comes from there. And I feel like, we move our mouths and the nose can be subtle enough that I think it's easy. Like the mouth is really important in terms of how it sits and how the folds, move with the face. But the eyes are one of the most important things because I think that's where everyone focuses when they look at a face for the most part. Unless you have like super bright lipstick on or a really distinctive mole or something like that. It's the first place people go.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of eyes, can you describe what an analog panic sketch is to you?
So as a digital person, I tend not to work analog. So I pretty much just work either on a Wacom tablet or an iPad. If I'm drawing analog, it's because someone's asked or because I'm trying to like pivot from something or there's a reason, and I'm always uncomfortable in that scenario because it's not where I live most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that particular reference is me just being like, I don't know what to do here and I don't want to do anything else, but I don't know. So I just kind of like will get laid down and then we'll see how that goes based on that. But yeah, there have been quite a few panic sketches made in time.
Yeah.
I did sketching once, like sketch requests once at a Comic-Con and I wanted to die.
Really? Oh.
I will never do that ever again. I am not a comic book artist. I don't know how they do that. It was a massive mistake. I will never do it again. Way too much stress.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I think the thing that I enjoyed about, because you did tweet about that, is that you drew these sketches on little paint swatches that you took from Home Depot.
Yep.
I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, they were definitely like made because I like can't handle like what's going on, and I don't know like how to work anymore. So I just like
Oh yes. Can you show that up on the camera?
Oh yeah, I have like I literally just keep them like underneath my desk.
Oh, I was gonna. My next question actually was, what do you do with these sketches when you're done?
They literally just sit here. They literally just sit. They don't go anywhere because I don't like. They're fine. They're all right, but they're kind of weird. Yeah. So I also do not want to deal with fulfillment right now because I was in Australia for a while and then I got back and I like don't want to ship things and I don't want to like list stuff on my shop because it means I have to fulfill orders and it's one of the worst parts of this job is
work.
Sitting amongst tubes and like the labels and packing them and
Yep.
No, thank you.
Yep.
So they're just sitting there.
Yeah.
Collecting dust.
Yeah. Well, thank you for answering that question. Let's pivot a little bit. Who would you cast to play you in a movie about your life?
I have been told probably due to the freckles. Lucy Liu is a little older than me now. Olivia Munn has a similar like face shape. If I just wanted to hang out with them, like not because they looked like me.
Sure, but
Charlize Theron.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, she could rock the shaved side head. She could.
Doesn't look like me. Couldn't look like me. But I would like her to play me because she's the best. Yeah,
that's a really great answer.
I love her.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I would like make sure that my life got extra actiony just so I could see more of her fight scenes. She is the best. I love it.
Yeah. Well, you know what that means, right? You need to get in a fight with someone famous, and then that way it becomes part of your legacy. Yeah,
I need to like Will Smith, Enemy of the State, something or other. I need to like be jumping off buildings and jumping off trains. Really cool. Yeah. Like, all right, Charlize, this is how we're gonna do it.
Yeah. something really cool. What is the worst design advice you've ever received?
Paint more. I was really graphic in school, in fine art school, and nobody told me. Like, I wanted to take graphic design classes, but they kept our majors separate. And so I was like, oh yeah, like I really, like I want to take graphic design classes. And they're like, well, you have to change majors. You have to change schools completely. I'm like,
oh wow.
Well, I don't want to do that. And then like later that day, like one of the professors was just like, you should just paint more. You're good at it. Like you should paint more. So I was like, I hate painting. And they're like, what? But no, I was like, just because I can doesn't mean I should. I'm not going to just paint more. And then I left fine art school and moved into graphic design and illustration. So.
Wow. Yeah. Paint more. Okay.
All right. Yeah. People trying to fit you into a box you don't fit in is.
Yeah. I can see that being, well, that'll wear on you and to the point where you're like going to make a decision. So.
Like, it also requires you to have the knowledge of self too, because these people are supposed to help steer you, right? Or you believe in their opinion in some cases, and then they could steer you wrong if you don't know for sure that they are wrong. And so
yeah. Well, that's kind of like a certain type of thinking where they are just passing on what they've been taught to you, but not necessarily listening to what you want to do. So I think that's a big difference there. Can you tell me about the She Creates mentorship and grant program?
I can. So actually, and this is a very well-timed question. I am launching the next iteration tomorrow, September 1st. Really excited for that. It is a bit rebranded. It was formerly She Creates. It is We Create now because I have expanded it. There are now 3 of us mentors. There are 3 grants and 3 opportunities for mentees to join up. and we have sponsors and a load of other things. And so generally it's just about uplifting marginalized artists who want to get into commercial visual art. And so a way to spend that year getting hands-on, one-on-one tailored mentorship with people that have been in the industry for a while, still growing. Like there's going to be growth and learning from both sides, but yeah, it's mainly just about giving back what we, the mentors wish we would have had when we were coming up, and also just a way to have a say in the future generations that come forward, because I think the industry could really do with a more unique set of voices and opinions and perspectives. And so that's what we want to foster. So that's what the program does.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Yeah, I saw that you were like a judge, or you were selecting certain individuals who were going to get the grant. So it was really nice that you featured them on your social media. I thought that was really awesome.
Yeah, it was so hard because 2019 was the first year. We were judging in 2018, and it was, well, when I say we, it was just me. It's just me and one grant, and I bootstrapped the program together. Yeah. And so it was so hard to choose because they were all so amazing, and it was one of like the hardest things I've ever had to do professionally, which is like pick one of them. So I had to like share them all. I was like, you're all great, and I wish I could like choose you all. And so that's why I expanded the program this year, because I didn't want to have to turn away more if I could help it. So yeah,
no, that's really awesome. And I look forward to hearing about it tomorrow, or today, or wait, the 1st, so tomorrow.
Yeah, it's tomorrow I launch it, and I'm really excited. I'm like really excited. There are very few things this year I'm super excited about, like that I get to celebrate, but this is one of them. So I'm really jazzed about it kicking off again this year. Yeah,
no, that's a big win. So I'm very happy for you.
It's a nice thing. It's a positive thing.
Totally, absolutely. What project taught you a valuable lesson?
I mean, any good job teaches you valuable things because you're growing, you're learning. You should be keeping it fresh and new. You should not do the same thing over and over and over and over again if you want to get better and you want to get bigger and you want to grow. Recently, one of my favorite jobs from last year was doing the John Wick illustration for Lionsgate. Mm-hmm. And it had been a really long time since somebody like art directed me the way that they did. It was very much collaborative. And I think at a certain point in your career, people are afraid to give you feedback. Understandably, because some people give really bad feedback, or they put way too many oars in and they ruin it. And most people who are good at this job want to avoid that. But I think when you're dealing with certain kind of artists, or you don't know them that well, you're afraid to be like, well, here's what we were thinking. What do you think? Because you're afraid you're going to offend them, or it's going to make it harder. But I love working with that team because it really feels like collaboration. Like they bring what I come up with, they add what they knew was going to work, and then we morph it together to make something better than what I brought to the table on my own. And so I worked with them recently. They're also dropping something I just worked with them on tomorrow, but I won't get to cover it because of the mentorship grant. So you'll see something from Lionsgate from me on Wednesday and from them on Tuesday. Really great project, but that was the first project that I worked on that was really, we got to dig in together as a team, and it was, I will search for that connection forever from clients, is this like really amazing collaborative thing. And it actually happened again when I worked with Hasbro for Snake Eyes. It was less immersive, but there was a lot of collaboration, and I really appreciated that because it's hard to know where to jump on it, but they did it just right, that it was really helpful, and it brought the game up. And so of course it makes me look really good because people think it was my idea, but it was not. Yeah. Team effort.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's nice to work with people who are like experts in a field that you're not completely familiar with, especially if it's, like packaging, right? Like.
Yeah. And I mentioned in the unboxing, like I don't do full body. Mm-hmm. And so it's hard for me to know, like, I know what people look like. I don't draw them so that, there's more punch in the knee, or the twist is more important there. And so they really helped me understand how to, just level up with that particular anatomy. So that was really neat and super helpful. But I really like when that happens. And so I don't get enough of it, and so I forget that that's a possibility, you know, as you move on to like bigger and better projects. And so it was a good reminder. I don't know if it was so much a lesson, so maybe I didn't answer the question, but
No, no.
that was a good one.
Yeah, I like that. Since you mentioned that John Wick image, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna share my screen with you. You've seen these things before, so it's nothing new.
Yeah, I've
Um,
seen him for a bit.
can you see these? Does these?
I can,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, cool. So I just picked some of my favorite pieces of yours from your website, from your portfolio
Mm-hmm.
site. All really fun and amazing. So yeah, you talked about the John Wick poster, which is really cool. Can you talk a little bit about the Kill Bill one?
So I know quite a few people who like this print. This print is a Thor in my side. It's
Why?
just the biggest, like, Uma Thurman is the only person whose likeness I have never been able to nail. Ever.
Huh.
Ever. Her face does not look right. And I redrew it 4 times and I still couldn't get it right. And at the end of the day, I was just like, I can't work on this anymore. The show is coming up because it was for Spoke Art.
Yeah.
And it got released. People love it. I did this really neat like blood splatter
Yeah,
with
yeah.
spray paint. And so it's like if you have the real like silkscreen print in front of you with the blood spatter, it's like shiny
Oh, that's
and it
cool.
looks like fresh blood. It's super neat.
Hmm.
And I definitely came up with that idea because I wanted to partially cover her face.
Interesting. Which version of her face is this? Was that the last version, first version? Which one?
Actually, I think it was like the first or the second. I don't think I got any better. And I'm just like, I give up. And it wasn't, if it's not better, then why not just go back to like what I had originally
Yeah.
stuck with. And so
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure it's like a little bit of like an amalgam. But yeah, this print hurts when I look at it.
Oh
So
my
it's
gosh.
like,
All right. Well, let's keep okay. Well, let's jump to the Fifth Element one really quick because I really love this movie too, and I really love this. Was this a poster? Was this what was it for?
also a silk screen print, and also for Spoke Art, they do well, when we were still able to go see movies in theaters safely, they teamed up with the Castro Theater originally, and now the Roxy Theater, to do screenings. And so they release special edition silkscreen prints for an event weekend or a double feature or something like that. This one was with Midnights for Maniacs. And so you can get these prints, and there was a foil one, and this is the neon one. So the orange was neon fluorescent ink. And so when it was in daylight, it would turn like day glow color.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was good. And I really wanted to work on this because The Fifth Element is easily one of my like favorite films ever. I could watch that over and over again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good one. That one doesn't hurt. John Wick doesn't either, but I'm trying to like avert my gaze from the
Okay.
yellow one.
Well, let's save you the trouble. Let's go to the next couple ones. So, you mentioned that one of the reasons why you were able to work on G.I. Joe was because those guys saw these pieces. Is that
Mhm.
true?
So the Metallica one in 2018, I started working with Hasbro on Snake Eyes before the 2019 one came out.
Oh, okay.
And so I think a month after the Wisconsin Metallica poster came out, I got like a DM from one of the creative directors at Hasbro reaching out about this project because they had been looking for inspiration online, and they follow Nakatomi Inc., who is the person, well, actually, it's Nakatomi is run by Tim Doyle. He curates a good number of the silkscreen VIP prints done for Metallica touring. And so he follows Tim and Nakatomi and saw this print, and they were using it in like their mood board. And they're like, that one, like, we just want that. And so they're just like, yeah, like, do that, but for Snake Eyes. And I'm like, okay, because I really, really loved this print. I loved working on this print. I don't get to do enough drapery. I don't get to do enough bones. And like, I got to throw in glitching because it was like their,
yeah, nice effect.
like,
yeah.
It was part of the tour. It wasn't like derezed and it wasn't glitched, but it was something like that. I forget the name of the tour now, but it was so much fun to work on. So I was like, yes, let's do this again. It's going to be awesome. So, and then the next year when they were doing a Euro tour, Metallica, I was just like, okay, let's do the same thing, but let's do animals, because I really enjoyed drawing timber during my Snake Eyes time. And so I wanted to draw more wolves. So it's really funny because one brought in the other, and it's kind of like, bookending itself.
Yeah, that's a good point. You mentioned that. I don't see a lot of animal illustrations that you've done. Like, now that I noticed, like the wolf is one of the few ones.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. All right. So you mentioned earlier that you'd gotten celebrity shout outs for your work. Can you talk about this one?
Yeah, that was really neat, and really unexpected, because a lot of people do not attribute artists or even bother to try and find out, who it was. But when I did my original poster for Disney for Captain Marvel, they liked it so much they wanted to commission a second to celebrate the fact that they joined the 1 billion club.
Yeah, totally.
And so I had to rush order this one. I had to like make it in a hurry, and so they released it, and they didn't tell me that like Brie was going to see it or even knew where it came from. Which is like the coolest thing, because Disney will cite, most of our work, when I work with the poster posse and stuff like that. But that was really surprising, and that still gets likes. I still get notified when people like that tweet. It's crazy. And that was 2019, so over a year ago now.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it was unexpected. She's just the coolest.
I know. Well, it's not just like, it's not like embedded in a giant paragraph with other people. It's a shout out just for you, which is incredible.
It was really nice, because she could have just left it at the first one and it would have been totally like, that's typically what happens. But she made sure that she attributed, which is just a huge, huge thing. So cool on so many levels.
Yeah. No, it's totally awesome. It's there's a reason why it keeps getting likes. It's cool.
She's the coolest.
Yeah. All right, let's okay. So you posted this picture. Can you tell me about the shirt that the Prime Minister of Canada is wearing?
Yeah, so one of the first like freelance design gigs I had was working as a designer for VC Ultimate, which is like the premier ultimate Frisbee apparel company.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but there is a great deal of international play for Ultimate Frisbee. I actually helped design and run Worlds in 2014, I want to say. And so it was actually considered as a sport for the Japanese Olympics. They didn't go for it this time, but it was on the board. It actually made it in, which was pretty neat for consideration.
Wow.
That being said, VC Ultimate is a Canadian company.
Okay.
And believe it or not, most nations have their own national ultimate team. And so Team Canada, Justin Trudeau played ultimate, and so follows Team Canada and got the kit that we designed. I think Adriana Withers, who is the president of VC Ultimate, might have sent him one. And then, he was just like photographed running around town in it and like photobombing teens. Like,
that's hilarious.
So funny, so weird how that happened.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, one, that's awesome he's wearing your shirt, and two, I think he'd be a really fun guy to have a beer with.
It seems like it. I do wonder
he seems like a cool bro,
Yes. I do wonder, is he just that good? Like, he just makes us all like him? I don't know, but he does it well. I think he'd be neat to like hang out with. I mean, he plays Ultimate, so.
Right. Well, he also likes X-Men the Animated Series, so I think he's also a nerd.
Yes, that is true.
But you're right. But who knows? He could be totally not as cool as he seems. But I'm gonna give him the benefit.
In terms of world leaders, he seems quite relatable.
Absolutely, yes, I would agree with that. Okay, let's go to. Okay, so can you tell me about this awesome sketch from Adam Hughes?
Yeah, so I vend at Baltimore Comic Con when somebody is going to be at Baltimore Comic Con that I either want to like see, like friends are coming in from Chicago or LA to like vend or sign, or when there are artists that I want to like try to get work from or signings from. Mostly because Baltimore Comic Con is a true comic con.
Yes.
It is small, it is
Correct.
intimate, and they bring heavy hitting
Yeah.
artists like
It's
like
mostly
Frankie Villa and Hughes and all these amazing people. And so that year was a banner year. Lots of really good talent. But Adam Hughes was the one I wanted. And he was actually literally just around the corner from me, up the aisle and to the right.
Oh, man.
And I had the hardest time getting over there when he was at the table because he stopped doing sketches because every time he did them, they would just end up on eBay literally like an hour later. Yeah. And so what they do now is you don't pay for it. You make a donation to a charity for dogs, but you have to catch them. And I kept missing. Like his wife was there and we would ask and she would like, I'm not sure when Adam's going to show and I think he'll be here around this time. They're incredibly nice. So nice. But I kept missing the window. And so the last day of Baltimore Comic Con, I had given up. But my husband, who was helping me vend, saw that he was at the table. He's like, there are people right now. The line is really short. He's like, I was like, I can't go because I was selling things to like fans at Baltimore Comic Con. He's like, I'll go. I'll just go do it. And so he stood in line and he got one. He got this gorgeous Catwoman because like he knocks them out in like 5 minutes flat. And sometimes, understandably, they're a little wonky.
Sure. This
one is beautiful. And I have it framed and everything. And so he brought it back. I didn't, because sometimes they close the line, they cap the line.
Yeah.
And so like you just get cut off and that's it. And this is the last day. So I didn't have my hopes up. He comes back and he shows it to me and I kid you not, I just started crying. Like I was so like, I had given up hope. It was so beautiful. And I like just started like tearing up and I'm like, I'm not crying. You're crying. I'm not crying over a drawing. Like,
right, yeah. Why did you bring me a wet piece of paper?
Like this is get out of here. This is nonsense.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. That was a really, really good one.
Yeah, that's an awesome story, and I totally agree with you. I've seen sketches of his where it kind of just looks like, I mean, obviously he's probably tired, but it looks like a generic female figure, and you don't know who it is or if it's supposed to be a character. But this one, it's obvious it's Catwoman, so that's really special.
Just utterly nailed it. Yeah. And like he wasn't supposed to be there, and it was like they didn't even ask for a specific donation. You just donated whatever you wanted, and it was just like this really thing. And like he chatted with them like while he was drawing it and stuff. It was so cool, so neat. So that was great. That's
cool. That's good to hear. Because I haven't met him. He's on my list, but it's nice to hear that he's actually a nice guy.
So like, and they work together like constantly. They are a pair, and just the nicest people. And so like, don't put your Adam Hughes sketches on eBay unless you're like really looking down the barrel of debt, because it ruins it for the rest of us. And no one else can get any more sketches because he stops doing them.
Right. This is why we can't have nice things.
eBay.
All right. So I hear you like Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah, like a lot.
Can you tell me about that?
So I mentioned that my husband was at Baltimore Comic Con with me. One of the few times I have assistants at the table. He's normally not. Normally I work alone. Okay. Because I'm working alone, I don't get away from my table often. So a few years ago, I got really tired of starving at my table or like having somebody go run and get food for me, which I felt really bad doing when they were trying to sell their own stuff. And so I was like, okay, well, I want people to bring me food. What kind of food do I want them to bring me? And I really, really love Ben & Jerry's. So I came up with the ice cream special, which is when I work a show. You can bring me a pint of, if there are very specific flavors you can bring me, but it's like one of 3 flavors that I'll post about. And you see in the bottom left the flavors that I like.
Oh, okay.
And so you bring me one of those 3, and that flavor corresponds to a print or a giveaway that I give you in return for bringing me ice cream.
Ah, I love it.
And so the first year, I didn't expect people to really do it, and they did. And then once people learned that it was a thing, I literally would roll away with like coolers like every day. I would give away ice cream pints to like friends vending because I'd have like 12.
Yeah.
And they would melt even
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
would bring like dry ice or whatever. And so like I eat only ice cream when I work at Comic-Con.
That is hilarious. That's so funny. I was wondering, I was like, okay, maybe this is like, she really loves it. I didn't realize that people were bringing you ice cream. I thought you were buying this and taking pictures with random people. I was like,
No,
wow.
they bring them. These are fans that were
Yeah.
kind enough to bring me one. This is at Awesome Con. And so they would bring it and they would get their print and we would trade. And then they wouldn't, you don't know what the print or the like the giveaway
yeah,
is.
yeah, it's like a mystery box or a mystery
Yes.
box. Yeah,
And
yeah.
each, no, sometimes depending on if it's only like 1 or 2 flavors, it's for different things.
Mm-hmm.
Or if there are enough products, I'll let somebody choose. But yeah, it's just a fun thing for like engagement and food.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I was like, I got to find out the story behind this. How cool was it working on The Mandalorian?
Much cool.
That's a good answer.
It was really neat to be able to work on it too, because you know I work with Poster Posse and Disney a fair amount,
Mm-hmm.
and we all knew what was coming down the pipeline, like several Star Wars properties, and it was just the neatest to like wait for it and like, is it gonna come? Are they gonna ask us to do that one? And so it was really neat. And then the first one, which is Cara Dune, they assigned characters or episodes to us, and my episode was Cara Dune's episode. I was like, I'm drawing the badass woman in gear, so that's what we will be doing for this one. And then they came back for, because it was only released in the US. Internationally, everyone had to wait like a while,
yeah, right,
months and months after. And so that's why I got like chapter 4, which was a little I had to draw him, the child. He was so cute.
I know. I'm just like, oh, I forgot how cute he was.
Yeah, they really, I can't believe they didn't know what they had, like when they
They really were like way behind the ball on merchandising. Totally.
They had no idea. And I'm just like, how did you not know when you saw the little like animatronic dude like walking, shuffling in that like robe? Come on.
Did no one on set be like, oh my gosh, it's adorable?
Yeah. Did like, multiple versions of that Baby Yoda not get stolen?
I was going to say, like, oh, we have to keep replacing this thing because people keep taking it. I will say, though, everything I've seen of the child has been nothing but cute, except for some of those pop figures that has him swallowing a frog or something. And I don't know who approved that, but man, I actually want to interview that person and be like, so what was the thought process? Because it looks terrible. It is the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. And I cannot believe someone was like, we got to make a pop figure of this exact moment. Like,
it was so funny though.
Well, yeah, like, it's funny. It's funny in context, but if you just have him on your desk and no one knows what's happening, you're like, what the hell is this? Anyway.
I mean, that's part of the charm.
That it totally is.
Terrifying your coworkers.
Mm-hmm. Right. Sorry. I basically set this slide up so I could complain about that to somebody.
It is strange, but I mean, like, I don't know. Sometimes you never know. Like, somebody like proposed that amazing Kirby. Like, I hope they make that real one day. Oh. But like, sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. You gotta keep swinging.
You know, right? Yeah. 99% of the time, it's gold. How much do you love anime?
You know, not as much as I should. I do love a good Miyazaki film, though. Yeah. And so I was watching My Neighbor Totoro in like 1989. So like I loved that movie, and then it was just kind of just as he continued to make films, I continued to watch them. And so Spoke Art had a weekend, a Miyazaki weekend at the Roxy Theater, and asked me to do a poster for each day, which had one of these films headline each day. And so I got to draw all of them, which was really neat and also really hard because these are properties that get taken on a lot. Yeah. And so I had to make, like, I didn't have to, but I felt the need to make them like cohesive. as a set, but also stand alone and not be the same old scenes of these characters over and over again. So yeah, that
Yeah.
was a fun and hard time, but it was really neat because I got to work on different color stock. So
Yeah.
the lime green on Mononoke is the color of the paper. The red in Spirited Away is the color of the paper.
Oh,
And then that light blue for Totoro is the paper stock, which is really
awesome.
neat. So it's this show through thing. So when you look at the back, it's actually like really colorful and not just white paper.
Yeah, that's awesome. Was it difficult to emulate the art style? Because I know I mean, you have a certain style. So was it hard to kind of draw a little differently to be more towards the anime?
Yeah, that was something I'd sidestepped doing cartoon or anime properties for a really long time because I didn't know how to marry my style and still make it look like theirs, right? Like it would have looked really weird to have drawn these characters like real kids or real like people. It would have been a little like uncanny valley-y, and I just like wasn't prepared for that. So I thought about it for a long time how to piece it together. And like I think it works okay here. It's interesting how I think the characters get isolated because they are more simplistic to look as they did in the movies themselves, and then they're surrounded by all these lines, you know, in the background. So it was a neat experiment, but I was very conscious of the differences between the styles and how to render them. And at the end of the day, I just decided not to, which I think was the best decision in that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
It would look too weird otherwise.
Yeah, that's actually something I didn't notice, that the characters are mimicking the way they look in the anime, but then the backgrounds are basically your style.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting.
That means I did it. That works.
Yeah,
That's
totally. Right. Yeah, well, I mean, there was no doubt, like you see this and you're instantly like, that's, you know, that's Princess Mononoke, that's Spirited Away. There was no question about that. I was just wondering because based on the work that I've seen on your site, like none of that looks like anime. So I was very curious, how'd she do that? So,
yep.
cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Do you like superheroes?
Like just a little bit.
Yeah. Is that something,
like a half cup.
Have you been asked that question before? Do you like superheroes?
Do I like I mean, like, not in interviews, but like by people in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it's generally like, do you like superheroes? And then it's like a question as to like which ones or which movies or something like that. Like, so like, yes and no, kind of.
Yeah. Do you have a particular affinity for certain characters, or is it's all good?
I like more realistic characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it when they are flawed. I like it when they are kind of handling like real people problems. Like it's hard for me to relate to Superman.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, both for the way it's written and who he is and a lot about him and stuff like that. It's hard for me to relate to that. But like, yeah, Spider-Gwen, I get that.
Yeah.
Like, and technically Thor is an alien and somehow I still like get his deal. So I don't know, maybe I'm just a Marvel person after all, now that I think about it.
Yeah. Well, I will say they've definitely humanized Thor. Like they've actually given him problems.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, I would agree with that. That makes sense.
But yeah. In general, I do like superheroes. I don't try to choose.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I don't even know why I asked that question because, I mean, obviously you do.
Just a little bit.
How much do you love this movie?
Oh, so much. So much. It's such a good movie. And like, it's timeless. It never gets old. It's the best. I mean, who doesn't want to watch, like, all Sam Rockwell all the time is something I'm totally fine with.
Double the Rockwell all the time.
Exactly. Like multitudes.
That's right. Did you see the movie before you made this poster or vice versa?
Yes, this was made actually several years after the film had come out. And this is the poster that I had shared. This was the private commission that Duncan Jones eventually saw and commented on and gave me that, yeah.
Got it. So this is
the
the
testimonial.
one. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's an awesome poster. Speaking of Sam Rockwell, if you could ask him one question, what would it be?
Can you teach me to dance?
That's a good one, because he does dance a lot. He does dance. Yeah,
excellent dancer.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Very light on his feet.
Yeah, lots of wiggly feet.
Yep. Awesome. Okay. Do you have time for a game before we wrap this up?
Sure.
Okay. You have a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil with you, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, here. This is like a back of something. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Great. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to play a drawing game.
Oh, great.
Yes. I think you might be all right at this. So it's 3 rounds. Okay. This is how this is going to work. So we're going to do 3 rounds of drawing. The first round is a portrait drawing. So I'm going to draw you and you're going to draw me. We're going to have 30 seconds to draw each other's faces in 30 seconds. Okay.
Now you remember what I told you about drawing people, right? Like non-actor people.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind.
Really glad you mentioned that before I decided to do this game. Okay. So I'm going to start the timer, 30 seconds. I'm drawing you and you're drawing me. Ready, set, go.
I get it. This is why you put on the nice shirt.
That's totally not why. I probably should have practiced.
Don't practice. Just go with the flow.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen. Oh, I better draw some eyes. Okay. All right. Timer's up.
No.
Okay. All right. Timer's up. Okay. I want you to set that aside. Okay. We're going to do another drawing. This time it's going to be 20 seconds. You're going to draw with your non-dominant hand. Okay.
Same thing?
Same thing.
Like drawing each other? Okay.
Drawing each other's faces. 20 seconds, starting now, using your non-dominant hand. Go.
Okay. Oh, no.
This is not going the way I thought it would. Oh, boy.
Why did you do this to us?
Okay, timer's up. Okay.
What have you done?
Okay. Now you're going to do one more drawing. Last one. This time it's going to be 15 seconds.
Okay.
You can use your dominant hand again.
Okay.
This time we're going to draw each other's faces with our eyes closed. So you're drawing from memory.
Okay.
Or actually, you're just looking at the paper. You're not looking at the screen. How about that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Ready, set, go. Okay, time's up. Oh boy. Okay.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
That was worse than the left-hand one.
Oh man. I actually thought that was better than the second one. Okay. You want to show the first one?
Okay.
We'll show. Here, you go first. You show me your first one. Go ahead.
Okay. So that's as far as I got.
Wow, that's great. I like it. You got the hair. Yeah, that's amazing.
Just that far.
That's really great. That's really great. I love it. Here, I'm gonna show you mine.
Oh, see, it's blood.
Hold on, there. Can you see it?
Oh, nice. See, you even got the jewelry and the accessories. I didn't even get like past here.
It's weird I was like, that's a feature I need to include in the drawing. So I was like,
well, it gives context to the neck because of the foreshortening.
Totally, yeah. I totally drew you like a 5-year-old girl. Like, I don't know why.
No, that looks like I could be an OC from a webcomic.
Or that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Do you want to show your second one?
So I'm definitely gonna like, because I had to draw and like I had to like split them. So I'm gonna show you. Okay, so
Yeah, that's fine.
this is the one we shared, right? 'Cause it's like all sorts of blown out because of my light.
Yeah, yeah. Try tilting it. I think that.
Weep.
Wow, I look really rough. I look like my chin is melting. Thank you.
There's no smoothness possible apparently
Yeah.
with my left hand.
That's cool. No, I like it. Okay, so that was the one where you're drawing with your non-dominant hand.
Yeah, that was the non-dominant hand. See,
So now you look like,
you still got like the whole parts of it. Like I didn't even get like head shape down.
yeah. Yeah.
Something really bad happened to your chin.
I just gave you like Ninja Turtle eyes because I was like, just give her the eyes and move on to something.
Gesture drawing. Gestural drawing. It's important. You can get it all down in this many seconds. You
That's
just need
right.
to do it like a whole bunch of times first.
So for this last one, I was actually really surprised because after drawing you twice, I was actually able to picture. It was easier. I was like, this is going to be hard. You're not going to be able to see, but I felt like this was my best one. But
that's awesome.
I'll let you go first. You want to show?
I had to start on a different piece of paper.
I look like a sleepy old man.
This one is somehow more accurate, even though it's an incomplete face.
Yeah, I'm only missing a nose and a mouth, but yeah, okay. I look like Benjamin Button.
You did this to yourself. You brought this on yourself.
I don't know why. I was like, you know what? It would be cool. We should have a drawing contest. I kind of regret it.
It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Nice. See, there's a lot of consistency, which I respect.
I feel like this is my best one. Because this one actually feels
I like the texture.
It has like an emotion.
Yes, it does because of the brows, right? And like the looking up.
Yeah. Like you actually, it looks like I drew your eye pupils. Yeah. I still got your necklace in there. I don't know. I guess that was.
You did. You did a good job. I'm pretty sure you did better than me.
Thank you. I don't know why, but I thought that'd be fun to just wrap things up.
It is fun, but I'm just saying, like, you don't get to have a bruised ego because I didn't draw you well.
I really love those sketches. I'm very, very pleased by those. Where can people find your work?
I'm apparently like one of the few Tracie Chings out there. So if you can find me at Tracie Ching on Instagram and Twitter, or tracieching.com, or really any number of Google searches will literally only turn up my name. So
cool. All right, Tracie, that's all I have. Thank you for being here and taking the time to speak with me. I really appreciate it. It was an honor and a real treat.
I appreciate you and your preparedness. You did a good job.
Did I ask a few questions that you've never been asked before?
Yeah, I have to like find that piece of paper I was keeping score on, because I did legitimately like keep as good a score. Where did it go? That's weird.
You're like, he's doing so terrible, I'm just gonna throw this piece of paper away.
I was keeping it down here the whole time, and now like I don't actually know where. That's really weird. I think I was like throwing paper around when I was like struggling to find one, but you did a good job. There were more tallies in the haven't answered that question before like column.
Okay, good. So. I'm glad to hear that. Cool. Well, then I did my job.
You won then, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not a number, it's not a ratio or proportion, right? It's just like majority.
That's right. That's what I was going for.
There you go.
Awesome.
You did it.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much.
Bye.